Hey guys, Tyler with Meeple Mountain here, bringing you another board game review, this time from our friends at Ivy Studios. Now, we're going to be looking at their expansion Binding Ties for Moonrakers. It's a deck-building negotiating game, and I've reviewed the main game before. You can check that out on Meeple Mountain as well if you're curious about it or unfamiliar with the game. The short pitch is, it is a deck-building game. You're making your ship, you're getting components for it, but you have to do missions, and missions are tough, and usually you're going to have to work with your competitors. You're going to have to collaborate and wheel and deal on how you want to split the loot or the bonus or the pay from whatever job you're trying to do on your turn. And so a lot of the game, the fun, the secret sauce of the game is the negotiating that happens at the table and how you negotiate trading prestige and coins and parts and all the things that you can potentially trade for their assistance on your turn. And so that's a huge part of the game. Binding Ties adds an additional element to that where every player is going to have a reputation track where they keep track of their reputation with the other players at the table. And you're going to be moving up and down this track as you succeed or fail missions when you work with these people. And then you can eventually spend that reputation to do really cool things, even get additional victory points for the game. So there's a lot of fun here. It adds additional elements to every aspect of the game. But again, it adds just another thing that you can negotiate on, and that's always a good thing in a game like Moonrakers. More currencies to barter with is always a positive. So without any further ado, let's jump in, take a look at all of the components that are here, and talk a little bit about what Binding Ties brings to the table. Here we have a look at the components for the Binding Ties expansion to Moonrakers, which we believe will be the first of many expansions in this universe. You can see here a slew of the contents of this expansion that add cards to each of the decks in the game. Objective, ship part, action deck, contract. Each of these is going to have additional cards added to it that will play off of the faction alliance ability that is introduced in this expansion. Here we have an example of a reputation terminal for the green player. Every player, all five of them, will have a chit of each color for their opponents, as well as this reputation terminal. At the start of the game, you're going to have your reputation with your competitors at 0. They don't know you, they don't trust you, you're just another nameless face right now. But as you work with them, as you do missions, so anytime you go on a mission and you share and agree to share the benefits and the rewards and the risks of a mission, and that mission is successful, you will gain a reputation point with that particular person. If you go with multiple people, you would gain a reputation with each of those pilots that work with you. If you're on a mission, however, and you fail that mission, you would lose a reputation with them. So it becomes a very volatile currency system. A lot of the additional cards in the game are going to potentially give you faction rep or play off of you gaining or spending faction rep. And as you do that, you may also gain additional faction rep, all the way up to 5 points of reputation with any particular given competitor. As you go, you'll notice that there are rewards for each of these levels that you're at, where you can spend your reputation to do really amazing things, all the way up to the top level where you can spend 5 faction reputation to actually gain a prestige. A prestige, again, as a reminder, is a victory point. You need 10 of those to win the game. So this can be an incredibly powerful thing if you plan your reputation strategy accordingly. Now, a lot of these particular abilities will require you to use reputation from a particular faction. So for instance, if I wanted to draw an objective, I would need to have a faction at level 3, spend 3 points, and I could draw an objective card by doing that. The bottom level here can use any of the factions. So if I needed to block a hazard dice really badly, I could spend any incremental element of prestige points, faction points, to block that hazard dice. So in this illustration, I could spend 3 from orange, I could spend 1 from yellow, I could spend 1 from purple to get the 5 that I need. And so this gives you a fun currency system where you can spend and move things around to meet your strategy and help you maybe out of some tough situations, but also let you plan for the future where you can get victory points from this play as well. You can also exchange and trade your faction reputation at a ratio of 3 to 1. So if I really needed to get yellow up, I could spend 3 faction with blue to move yellow up 1 particular point, if there was a particular reason or motivation behind that for any particular card combos you had going on. So this is what you can expect in the expansion. It's an additional element to you as a player where you're going to have this additional board to track your reputation as you work on missions, and it will allow you to have another piece of the puzzle that you can negotiate with your fellow competitors about. You could offer them reputation to do something with you from a reward on a card. You could offer them reputation if they come with you. The promise of them gaining reputation is now a new enticing factor for people to work with you. They're going to want to come on successful missions because they want the reputation so they can spend it to gain prestige. Also, though, there's a new strategy, right? Like, you could bring someone who had a lot of prestige and forcibly fail a mission to make them lose prestige or lose faction alliance points so that they don't have enough to gain a prestige point. There's a lot of new strategies about how you move reputation for yourself and your opponents around the board, and it becomes another layer to the beautiful negotiation and table talk that happens in a great game of Moonrakers. And that, in a nutshell, is everything you need to know about what you can expect to find within the contents of Moonrakers, the expansion. I love that it comes in this really nice little game tray setup, so you can easily just pull it out, set it out, and you're ready to go. It becomes very modular, of course, as most expansions are these days. Every card is marked and denoted, so you can add it or remove it based on the interest of the table and the experience level of the table. If you want to start with just the base game, you can. You want to add this in for a splash of extra depth, you certainly can. I really feel like this expansion just builds on and expounds on the things that I loved about the base game, right? Like, you have a great formula, a great game, but it really flourishes. What makes it bloom and look amazing and feel amazing is when a table is negotiating and driving these hard bargains and having these wheeling and dealing arguments and discussions about how they want to split up any particular mission that's on the table and who they should take and who they shouldn't. And now the faction reputation becomes just one more piece to that puzzle where you're still negotiating and wheeling and dealing, and it's just really, really fun. It's an enjoyable, engaging aspect to the game. The new cards add, of course, additional replayability, but it also adds just another thing for you to be thinking about in your mind about how do I want to build this reputation system? How do I want to negotiate so that I can sneak up there and finally have enough reputation that I can sneak to 5 and gain additional victory points? It becomes another way to really have these rocket ahead swing victories that's really fun and really rewarding when you pull it off and you trick the table and they don't notice, or it's really frustrating when you don't notice and someone else does it to you. And those moments are what makes Moonrakers a really fun game, and I believe the Binding Ties expansion just builds on that and adds more fun to it. The rulebook is super quick and clean. It's great. Like, you can get in and it'll answer any questions you have, and you'll be able to know really quickly what to do. This expansion is not insanely deep or coming up with just these amazingly new concepts, but it adds a really fun feature that I think just makes the game better. Obviously, it adds a little more depth, but it is quite easy to digest and very, very fun once your table gets into this additional aspect of the game and the knowledge that reputation is key on how you do everything and part of that negotiation. So very, very fun. The only critique I really have is I just wish I could fit it into the base game somehow, and I just can't make that happen, so multiple boxes it is. But that is such a minor critique. Again, you have really nice game trays to keep everything sorted. Ivy's always good about that and having a really nice table presence. Again, you have that quality, very unique art that you know if you're familiar with Moonrakers. It's a really fun look and feel, and it continues to expound on that with just the token design, and especially your player boards, and the cards, of course, keep that fun graphical style that you know and love. So all in all, I would say this is a great expansion. If you like and enjoy Moonrakers, then Binding Ties is a no-brainer buy for sure, because it is going to make that game just better. Everything that you like about Moonrakers, it's just going to expound on it, and so that's always a win-win in my book. So I'm really excited that Ivy partnered with us to get a quick look, a sneak peek, if you will, at this expansion that's going to be coming out for Moonrakers. I hope you enjoyed getting a look at what's in the box and how the function works, and what you can kind of expect to get when you pick this expansion up. I hope you'll continue to come to Meeple Mountain for all of your board game related needs, and as always, happy gaming.
Thanks for checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Check out these links to find some other games you might want to bring to the table. This is Tyler Williams, signing off.